Evening. So recently, or well, not recently, but a while ago, I had received a one of those little gift cards that gift credit cards that have like a set amount of money on them. One of my family members gave that to me, and I haven't really used it at all. And I figured I might as well take advantage of that and go ahead and buy some indie games here. It's this, Devolver sale. Um, and I'm not gonna limit it to just Devolver games. I figure I'm just gonna try and pick up, the whatever quirky, cool, hip indie game I see that has cute, kind of whatever animal designs and cartoon art that I can pick up. Just to look at that. So let's just I'm gonna kind of start skimming through now. You'll see a highly edited version of this. Here we go, with a starter. I remember hearing a lot about this game, and I never really played it myself. Well, that's just an extra judicial fucking kill squad coming for me. But this is a game that I'd heard a lot about. This is not really an indie game because it's published by fucking Square Enix. But, this is part 2. I always felt like it would be a game that I would like and enjoy. So I'm going to go ahead and... So, no, this is another one. Again, never really played. Always seemed like a pretty cool, nice, awesome indie game that would be something that I would enjoy thoroughly. So I figured I'd pick this one up. It's kind of like Pop Tropica. I always remember always remember playing and loving Pop Tropica as a kid, and I'm really into like indie animal art like this. Yeah, so I feel like this one also really just looks like a shining example of like an underappreciated, indie game. It looks like it's going to be well written. This is another kind of dialogue, more story-driven game, a story-driven experience. And it's supposed to be a pretty emotional game. I remember watching Cryaotic play this, and then I tried to buy
it with money
because I wanted to do my own Let's Play series when I was younger. But that was an abject failure, and I never played the game. So I think I'll go ahead and I'll give this one a fair swing, a fair shot. And, maybe relive some of the points in my childhood. And, it'll be a pretty good experience. Okay, well, I feel like that's a pretty good roundup of games. I think I'm just going to go through and play them sequentially and just kind of give my thoughts on them as I play them. Just give each one a decent rundown, like maybe solid five minutes of gameplay or so. And it'll be a good experience to appreciate and love all of these indie games that are pretty good, that I know I'll like a lot. So let's cut the jib jab and let's just dive right into some fucking indie game. Okay, so this is the first game on my list. This is Night in the Woods. I know I didn't choose Night in the Woods first when I was going through. But I figured, I'd play that one first because that was the one that most kind of leapt out at me as like a game that I would really enjoy. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start with the campaign. So here we have a pretty good example of, some quirky indie game Pinterest quotes that they put in here, just to keep things light. Well, it went away, but it said, "Hell devours the indolent." And, I think that's just a good... you got to keep, your life energy momentum going. You got to keep those vibrations, those good vibrations happening in you. You got to use your essential oils. So, it's just good little life lessons like that Night in the Woods kind of sprinkles throughout. That lets you know that you're playing a stupid fucking hippie game. Alright, so first things first, it's looking pretty good. There's a lot of good, graphics. Pretty good graphics for an indie game. I wouldn't have expected this to look as good as it does. But yeah, no, really, really solid so far. I'm really impressed by the craftsmanship and the slick design that they've got going for all of the environments. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of play a little bit into this, chop up that footage. So here we got like one of our first enemy encounters in Night in the Woods, and it's got a really intuitive little like role-play JRPG kind of back and forth turn-taking gameplay style. So you know they've kind of taken their turn to attack, and I'm gonna take my turn now. See, that's a special critical hit. You get 2 turns in Night in the Woods. You get 2 turns. This is that's my second turn. So there's his turn. Here's my turn. So this is a really cool little gameplay feature they added in. You know, it's pretty relaxed. You know, for what I would expect from an indie game, from a pretty chilled out artsy indie game like this, and I like it. You know, it's quirky, it's neat. Looks like something that would I would like on Pinterest. Oh, he took his turn. You know, and I think it really kind of represents like like societal, like growing up, the growing pains of being an adolescent, 20-something man-child, or woman-child as well, growing up, living off of being dependent, but wanting to be independent. So these are like the demons that you have to face within yourself. Try and be independent and live on your own and find yourself.
You can tell it's him because we put his name on the stone.
See, in Life is Strange, there's these cocksuckers that have fucking shields that just really, they kind of represent the conflicts that we have, with parents and figures of authority when we're at a younger age, and the difficulties of growing, as well as like struggles with society at large, and having identity issues and going to art school. Fucking all very deep stuff, very interesting stuff that I feel like makes the game. It's really interesting how they incorporate narrative aspects of the game into the gameplay as well. See, here's another interesting element of gameplay that ties into story. It's like upgrades to your weapons, which are just kind of like you're like learning life skills. You're kind of you pick up skills which are sort of like upgrades to yourself personally in life. So like say in life I kind of learn how to socialize with people a little bit better. Well, that's sort of like learning up like how to use a tactical scope in a combat situation. Or let's say I learn to be at peace with who I am, and I'm okay with other people's conflicting interests, and if someone doesn't really have a high opinion of me, that's okay. And that's sort of like getting a stun bomb upgrade. That's like a self upgrade. So again, it's a really interesting instance of tying narrative into gameplay, and I think that it's really well done. It's really subtle here.
Get you later. I'm off to see the man upstairs.
So this one is gameplay of To the Moon, and this one's got really subtle.
That's an Argent accumulator she's carrying. She'll try to use it to open a portal manually into hell.
While the Argent Tower is non-functional, the connection to their dimension is still viable. We are at great risk, Dr. Hayden.
Okay, so yeah, this is like a game about where I think like the person, one of the characters' significant others or dad or something is dying from cancer, and like they want to get to the moon for some reason. And it's a really interesting game that I think deals with like loss and other kind of issues, like personal issues like that. So I think this might actually be the person in the game that is dying from cancer that I'm kind of closing in on here. Yeah, one thing I noticed in this game is sometimes to help to represent the emotional struggles of loss and just losing a loved one and having to go to space or wherever, they put these guys in here that just like don't shut the fuck up. And I think that just I just think that represents like the slow kind of just grinding sensation of loss in your life and dealing with emotional trauma and something.
There was an angel at the entrance checking off a guest list.
So yeah, this game that I'm playing right now is well, I don't really remember the title right now, but I just have a lot that I would like to, say about this game. How great it is, how much fun I'm having right now. It's a really good experience that incorporates a lot of the different emotional, shit. Well, you see, that's another thing that happens in, what game is this? Well, yeah, this is that one Hentai Tits game. So yeah, like, this is that Hentai Tits game, and it's got a lot going on for it narratively also. In games, the strength lies in the story, and it doesn't, mosey around that fact. There's a lot of, I'll be honest with you, this game, a lot of dialogue, a lot of heavy dialogue trees that you have to wade through. But it's all very well written, it's very good. You get really deeply and emotionally invested in the characters. It's like reading War and Peace, there's a lot there, but once you get into it, it's really worth the time. Really worth the. You get out what you put in terms of character investment and coming to know the characters. They feel like actual people. Overall, I'd say a very good experience. I just couldn't recommend this game more to anybody who just really wants to jack off. So I think that's my summary of all these games. So yeah, I would buy them if I were you. You should take money that you've earned or been given or stolen and put it into that.